It should be troubling in and of itself that we have a president of the United States who has a verdict against him, not one but two, of sex abuse. Look, we know that Donald Trump likes to use the DOJ as his personal law firm, and they are happy, they are beyond excited to serve in that role. That his personal defense attorney in cases is now at high levels of power in the Department of Justice in the United States. It's a bizarre situation. Unprecedented doesn't really get it done to explain how wildly inappropriate, and some have argued illegal, all of this is, right? But it's not just the Department of Justice. He's not just trying to use the Department of Justice as his personal arm to benefit himself. It's also the United States Supreme Court, who largely, at a margin of about 6-3, as I bite the inside of my cheek, they're in for it too. He's now asking them, and this is another thing. This is where we are in this country, that Donald Trump, a man, let me just read this headline from Axios. Prepare, if you're drinking something, stop. If you're standing, sit. This is the kind of thing that just invokes the gag reflex. From Axios, Trump to ask Supreme Court of the United States to reverse E. Jean Carroll's sex abuse verdict. One, it should be troubling in and of itself that we have a president of the United States who has a verdict against him, not one but two, of sex abuse, abusing a woman in a shopping mall in his past. It's a verdict. There was a judgment rendered in this case. The other thing is that he's asking the Supreme Court to overturn that verdict. 3 of those members he's appointed personally. They would have to, you would think, recuse themselves from this case, being that he appointed them, and then now they're rewarding him. Seems like a quid pro quo, right? If you're normal and you understand ethics, even at the basis level, you could be in elementary school and still say, oh, that seems like a problem. Here's a little bit from the article from Axios. President Trump is expected to ask the Supreme Court to reverse the $5 million verdict in a civil suit where he was found liable for sexual abuse and defamation of writer E. Jean Carroll. Trump has continuously fought the verdict, claiming that several lawsuits against him are politically motivated, with mixed success in court. The most success that Donald Trump has had relative to scuttling lawsuits and legal action against him is becoming president of the United States again, and then having his personal attorneys at the DOJ do away with those lawsuits. And now he wants to treat the Supreme Court the same exact way. However, it should be known, I think everyone knows, that the Supreme Court, the judiciary of this country, is a co-equal branch of government. They are not subservient to the wills of this fascist dipshit, Donald Trump. President Trump intends to seek review by this court of significant issues arising from the Second Circuit's erroneous decision, the president's counsel wrote in an application to the nation's highest court. The petition asked the court to grant the president an extension until November 10th to formally ask for this case to be heard. You know, it's interesting, this $5 million verdict that they're talking about. Couldn't he just use some of the money that was paid to him by CBS and ABC, some of the $32 million that they bent the knee and paid him in a settlement? Couldn't he just use some of that? He's not rich enough. He needs to recoup that $5 million. Or is this about a legacy play here? That's a question I would love to know, what everybody's thinking about. In the filing, Trump's lawyers noted that the president has not previously asked for an extension and that the legal team needs more time due to conflicts with other cases involving the president. Weird to have a president who's wrapped up in so many cases. Well, we don't want it to conflict with all the other nonsense that we have going on. All of the other lawsuits we've brought against the media, attacking their freedom of speech, using the power and the weight and the heft and the width and the breadth of the United States government to bring those cases. Yeah. And then finally, quote, we do not believe that President Trump will be able to present any legal issues in the Carroll case that merit review by the United States Supreme Court, Carroll's attorney, Roberta Kaplan, told Axios in an emailed statement. I don't know how far we must slide into the abyss as a country for people to start waking. I know that there is a wide swath of America who is not happy about where things are, where we currently stand as a country, that the reputation of the United States was precarious at best before because of all the things we've done with foreign relations and our military and all of that. But we might be too far gone now. It might be a lost cause that we are just done. I know that when I travel internationally and I talk to people in foreign countries, their question, especially when they find out what I do, is what happened? Because a lot of people think that the United States is so chock full of MAGA people, of Trump supporters, that there's only a few of us who resist, only a few of us who aren't in agreement with the policies of Donald Trump and this country. And that just couldn't be further from the truth. The problem lies in voter participation rates. The problem lies in people who are, because of our system, because of capitalism being predatory, people are too busy trying to scratch out a living and survive to pay attention to important news. They've been convinced that their vote does not matter. And then we've got a whole other element of the fringe political elements of our country who battle against the unfortunate binary system of our voting. That in November, it was Kamala Harris or Donald Trump. Those were the choices. And too many people either bowed out because I'm not going to vote for Kamala, and then allowed Donald Trump the opportunity to swoop in and fundamentally change an already broken country. Rough stuff going forward. And I think it's on all of us to be more involved. Maybe not to the level that I am with having my eyes propped open with toothpicks like it's the Clockwork Orange scene or something, constantly into the news, having to really take a weekend every month or so to just completely check out. Don't do that to yourself, but get involved, be involved, stay involved. Convince those around you of what is happening. Inform them. Be that friend who's talking about the news to your acquaintances, your coworkers, your friends, your family, your neighbors. It's important. We're losing our country, and I don't want to say it's too late because I'm at my core an optimist. It might be too late, and we're only 9 months in to this shitscape. What do you think? Communicate with me in the comments. Let's talk about it there. You can also call the voicemail line, 714-576-4054. And of course, as always, you can email me daily at dollemore.com. I am glad to be back in my home studio, not on the road, doing this from a hotel room. While I can do it, it's operable. It's not ideal, as you can imagine. Anyway, thank you for spending some time with me today. I'll see you tomorrow. Be genuine. Take care of one another.